Okay. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Hope you guys can hear me. Let me turn this blonde down. Is it this one? Golly, I think it's just bright outside. Anyway, what's going on, guys? Coming to you live, Austin here. I want to bring something to your guys' attention. So, I haven't really heard anything about volcanoes lately, And it's almost as if they go dormant for 1,000 years and you hear about one here and there, but volcanoes are more active than we think. Let me break it down to you. So let's talk about Kilauea volcano on the Big Island in Hawaii. So on Sunday, that being December 20th, 2020, for those of you who are watching this later in life, the Kilauea volcano erupted, according to the U.S. Geological Survey. Now, it did cause an earthquake, but there wasn't any data on the Richter scale. However, they are saying that the magnitude at its epicenter was 4.4 on that magnitude scale. Now, once it erupted, steam just clouded up the sky almost instantaneously, and ash fell for many, many, many hours. It could still be falling because, ash is just so light and it's just still floating. Like, there's no way gravity just pulled it all down already. So because of that, they are urging Hawaii residents, natives, to stay indoors. You don't want to breathe that in. You don't want to be a part of that. But I can only imagine what kind of evacuation methods were in place for an island that is Hawaii with, known volcanoes to erupt. Kilauea is one of the most active volcanoes in America, let alone the world. So let's go back, historically even. It didn't even erupt, that long ago. The last one that happened was in 2018, where there were multiple eruptions and earthquakes over the course of several months, and hundreds of homes were evacuated and then eventually destroyed by the lava flow. So, here I am, a Midwest kid, and the worst thing I have to worry about is a blizzard. I can only imagine what it'll feel like to see this glowing lava slowly descend from a mountain, getting closer and closer to me. And then you have to think about the scenery, right? The scenery of that volcano is just so ridiculous because the ash clouds up the sky like it blocks the sun, so it's darkness. But then you have glowing red liquid from the ground. So instead of the sun up top where it's bright and then, the ground is dark, you got a glowing earth and a dark sky. Like, I can only imagine what that looks like in real life. Like, I've seen Journey to the Center of the Earth and all that, and I know there's no dinosaurs in Hawaii, but I'm just saying that sounds very sci-fi. I could see why it's something you wouldn't have a plan for, but like I said, it's Hawaii. They deal with that type of stuff all the time, right? So, the Hawaii Civil Defense Agency is still urging people to stay inside. Like I said, you don't want to breathe that in. But at the same time, it's like, I'm going to assume they're probably going to be extra careful for at least a week. Like, I'm going to say till December 27th or 28th, they'll start to be a little lighter on that because it's kind of hard to read how much ash is left in the air for when it's still safe. I don't even know how you put out lava, because lava is so hot that it is liquid, but anything it touches catches on fire instantaneously, almost spontaneous combustion. So I'm kind of curious how they would stop lava itself, if they're just going to wait it out, because you never know if the volcano is going to erupt again. But even still, that doesn't make much sense considering, then you have, like I said, lava illuminating the night sky, just getting closer and closer to these towns and villages. Like I've seen lava cool down and then they just stop. It just becomes rock again. It becomes obsidian again. But who knows how long that takes? Who knows what type of temperature is needed? What type of moisture is needed to cool down lava that's thousands and thousands of degrees hot? Let me actually look that up. How hot is lava? Like the average lava to stay in liquid form. Wait, is that redundant? Is lava already liquid rock? I think that's right. Hold on, let me see. Because it's bugging me now. Like, you know what I mean? How do you extinguish something that's that hot? How hot is lava in degrees? The temperature, this is according to Universe Today. The temperature of lava when it's first ejected from a volcano vent can vary between 700 to 1200 degrees Celsius. Celsius, which comes out to be about 1300 to 2200 degrees Fahrenheit. As you probably know, lava is melted rock that bursts from a volcano during an eruption. That is crazy. How do you cool down 2000-degree rock? I don't know. So they're saying that Kilauea erupted much later in the day, but the events actually started to unfold in the morning when multiple fissures happened. And that happened from, 6 a.m. onward, just, throughout the mornings. And it must have been all that pressure that caused it to do all that damage that they're saying it did. You guys should go ahead and look up, the live feed of the Kilauea volcano erupting. It's being posted all over. I think even the BBC News posted something about it because it's that significant. Anytime a volcano erupts, it's significant because the amount of harm that it can cause people, the amount of environmental damage it does to its surrounding area. However, you could argue that volcanoes are going to do what volcanoes do, and they are a part of nature, so they can't really damage it. Because you could say there's a reason why Kona coffee is considered the best coffee because of the rich soil due to being near volcanoes and the volcanic ash being blended in with the soil that they use to grow. So, volcanoes are bad for humanity, but is it good for nature? I don't know. So, let me give you guys a volcano 101 because I don't know too much about it, and I definitely learned something. So magma is what's rising to the surface, and magma is melted Earth's mantle. So the Earth's mantle is eventually gets so hot that it melts, and just like putting an ice cube in a cup and you fill it all the way up to the top, as it melts, the water, the liquid now is rising higher and higher and higher. And eventually, think of the top of the cup as the top of the volcano. So a lot of times, magma is often too thick to just slightly spill over the top. Instead, there's far too much pressure, and eventually it's going to bottle that all up and shoot straight through, which causes those eruptions, which causes, let's just say it erupts, it shakes the earth, but then it's close to a fault line. That's how you get earthquakes, fissures, aftershocks, things like that. And that concludes Volcanoes 101. So, with that being said, I did some more research as to, okay, I don't hear much about volcanoes. I don't think anyone really does. But, I know some famous ones, Mount St. Helens, Mount Rainier, I think. But I'm not really familiar with volcanoes that can kill us. Oh, Yellowstone is another one. But I'm not too familiar with the ones that are a threat. Like, I'm just assuming volcanoes are just mountains with the potential to have lava in them and that most of them are dormant. I was wrong. So, fun fact, America has 10% of all active volcanoes in the entire world. I'm going to say that again. America has 10% of all active volcanoes in the world. We are considered a very active volcanic continent, country, whatever you want to say. And I looked more into it. That exact number comes out to be around 169 volcanoes that scientists, geologists deem active. So I don't know how recently they have to erupt to be considered active, but 169 of them still have a potential to erupt and harm us, but we just don't know when. It's very hard to predict, apparently. I'm not into that. I don't really like knowing the unknown. That's why I try to plan ahead. That's why I often preach sustainability. Check out my other podcast if you don't know. But then I did some more research. I dug a little deeper, and I'm definitely staying away from the West Coast. Listen to this. Of all 169 of them, they're only in 5 states. We already talked about Hawaii, that's one. But there's a ton in Alaska, Northern California, Oregon, and Washington. So long story short, that's another reason to move out of California if you're there, and don't move to California just because it sounds cool. Like, you're telling me I have to pay all this money to live in LA or Beverly Hills or San Diego, or I don't know. I'm not from there. I'm just saying it's a ton. It's a ton of expensive stuff over there to just be scraping by. Earthquakes to them is like a whole nother roller coaster ride. Like, it doesn't faze them anymore. But you're telling me if I go to Northern California, let's just say I want to get away from the Southern California lifestyle, the SoCal lifestyle. If I move up north, I'm facing, tens of 20s of volcanoes ready to kill me. Like, no, sir, no, thank you. So just be like everybody else and move to Texas, bro. I'm not saying you got to move to Houston either. I'm just saying, hey, with how climate is changing, I would look into, moves you can make in the near future. So tell me this. Hawaii has the most amount of volcanoes, like when it comes to the other states I named. But on top of that, Kilauea, the one that just erupted Sunday and erupted 2 years ago, is the most active volcano in America. So, there's probably a ton of people that have dealt with volcanoes in their lifetime living in Hawaii. But I guess I have 2 questions. One, have you ever experienced a natural disaster that, it can be a volcano, but anything else similar to the amount of damage it can cause where you actually have to evacuate where you live? Or why do you stay near it if it is that active? Big Island, I'm assuming, is a popular area. I'm assuming like the population is decent. Let me check that actually. Google's my best friend. Population of Big Island, Hawaii. Let me see.
In 2011, the population of Hawaii was 186,000.
Yeah, look, 186,000 people. Call that place home. It has some fancy hotels. It's got a nice suburban living, very close to nature. I hear they do a very good job when it comes to making sure their natural reserves are safe. I'm just saying, if it's erupting every 2 years, like let's just say in 2022 it erupts again, I would like that would be a count against Big Island for me. And not saying you got to move to land. I'm just saying you might want to move to another island that you guys have. So yeah, just let me know. Have you experienced a natural disaster before? And if so, how bad was it? And if so, was it to the point you had to evacuate from your house? Um, or it was so bad that after you left, you couldn't go back? I know that's tough to bring up, but I'm honestly curious how many people have actually had to face that in terms of the entire population. I also want to know if anybody that's watching that's from Washington, Oregon, or Northern California has had to deal with anything, or even Alaska. Alaska, especially because Alaska just seems like it's dormant within itself. So yeah, please let me know. I just thought that that was some crazy news that people need to be more in tune with, even though it didn't directly affect you. Just understand that nature is going to do what it's going to do. So that's why I'm kind of hesitant to even say natural disaster. It's more like a natural occurrence, considering all this stuff just happens. It's only a disaster because that's how, mankind perceives it. That's how animals perceive it. But how about nature in itself? Stuff like that's going to happen. Just like how floods happen, tornadoes happen, hurricanes happen. It's just the right things happening all at the same time, which results in a big event. So, yeah, please let me know if you've had to face any natural occurrence. And let me know if that has happened to you, why or why not stay/leave. Thank you guys for listening. I'm going to make sure I post this in my archive. See you guys around probably tomorrow. I mean, I hope so. Cross fingers, right? All right. Peace. Deuces. Bye. No, 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 no,